Deep in the heart of Moscow lies a secret ghost metro station where trains never stop. It's been abandoned for decades, yet eerie lights can be seen shining from its tunnels. This is the terrifying story of the Dyakovo ghost train. The year was 1964 when construction began on the final section of the Zamoskvoretskaya line. The new stations were being built deep under the frozen Moscow streets and were set to open in just 2 years' time. But then disaster struck. On October 13th, a fire broke out on the construction site. Flames engulfed everything, destroying part of the unfinished tunnel and killing 2 workers. After the accident, the mayor decided that the remaining 2 stations would no longer be built, and so the project was abandoned. Decades later, these 2 stations still stand empty. Platform 13 serves as a storage area for cables, and Platform 14 has tracks leading nowhere. And that's not the only secret the Moscow Metro has. It all started when a janitor at the Park Pobedi station noticed something strange. Every night between 1 and 4 a.m., he heard the sound of trains echoing through the tunnels. At first, he assumed they were just old steam trains from another line. But there was one crucial difference. These sounds seemed to be coming from an abandoned section of the line. Curious, the janitor followed the sound. He walked along the tracks until he came across an opening in the ground. Looking inside, he saw a train consisting of 3 carriages parked in a tunnel. Soon, rumors about the ghost train spread throughout the city. People claimed that it belonged to a secret, uncharted line of the Moscow Metro. According to legend, this line had been closed off due to a deadly virus spreading through the tunnels. Some said the ghost train carried victims to a secret laboratory where scientists experimented with them in a desperate attempt to find a cure. Others said the virus mutated, turning the passengers into flesh-eating monsters. One day, the government decided to investigate. Officials sent a team of engineers into the tunnels to find the source of the noise. But when they got down there, they found something that made their blood run cold. The engineers discovered a vast underground complex filled with tunnels, platforms, and trains. None of it was on any official maps. In total, they found 5 stations on the Ghost Line. One was full of books, suggesting those who died here may have been intellectuals. Another station had a hospital with an operating table covered in blood. And some of the trains still had passengers sitting inside. They had been turned to stone, forever frozen in time. And then the engineers came across the final station. Here they found documents that revealed the horrifying truth. In 1988, 25 people entered the station, but only 14 came out. Those who didn't make it were infected by a deadly virus and turned into monsters. The last entry log showed that a scientist named Sergei had locked himself in the station's nuclear reactor room to prevent the virus from spreading. But what happened next shocked everyone. To this day, no one knows what happened to the scientist or how he managed to power the train. All we know is that before the virus consumed him, Sergei made one last announcement over the intercom. He said, "Attention passengers, this is your host. We have just arrived at our final destination. Here, the end." Then the transmission cut out. Some say the ghost train is still searching for survivors, while others believe it's haunted by the souls of those who died on board. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. There are 2 things that never change: death and taxes, they say. But in the case of this abandoned Russian subway station, it's possible that death may have something to do with why it was built in the first place. This is the story of an abandoned subway station in Russia, and it's part 2 of a chilling tale. So if you haven't already watched part 1, go back and do so now. Or better yet, watch both parts straight through like the millions of viewers who have done just that. Welcome back to the channel. The year is 1984, and construction workers in the Russian city of Nizhny Tagil are busy excavating a new subway tunnel. But they aren't alone. As the workers dig deeper and deeper into the earth, they begin to uncover something truly disturbing: human bones. The workers immediately stop what they are doing, and the excavation site is quickly sealed off with police arriving shortly thereafter. But it won't be long before they find out that this is only the beginning. Over the next several weeks, more and more bones are uncovered, leading authorities to believe that the tunnel has been built directly over top of a mass grave. And while this would be disturbing enough on its own, it soon becomes clear that the story is much more sinister than that. As the workers continue to excavate the area, they begin to uncover personal effects, items that tell a story of unimaginable horror. Women's shoes, men's wallets, even children's toys. It soon becomes clear that these aren't the remnants of a mass grave, but rather the belongings of people who have vanished without a trace. But how does this connect to the subway station? Well, to understand that, we need to take a step back and look at the history of the station itself. The Park Pobedi metro station opened in 1984 as part of the VDNK complex, which was intended to be a showpiece of Soviet architecture and engineering. The complex was designed to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the start of World War II and was intended to be the centerpiece of a massive propaganda campaign. But despite the best efforts of the Soviet government, the park and the station never really caught on with the public. And after the fall of the Soviet Union, the park was abandoned and the station was closed. But that's not where the story ends. Legend has it that the station was built over the site of a secret Nazi base, a base that was used to develop some of the most advanced weapons of World War II. According to some, the station was deliberately built over the base in order to hide it from the Nazis, while others believe that the base was discovered accidentally during construction, leading to the entire project being scrapped. But that still doesn't explain the bones and the personal belongings that were found during the excavation. Well, there's another theory for that as well. According to some, the station was actually built over the site of a gulag, a Soviet labor camp where political prisoners were sent to die. The prisoners were forced to work in horrific conditions until they were too weak to continue, at which point they were simply left to die. Their bodies were then buried in a mass grave, which was later discovered during construction. But which of these theories, if any, is true? Unfortunately, we may never know for sure. But one thing is certain. The Park Pobedi metro station is one of the most mysterious places in Russia, and while it may never be used for its original purpose, it will always serve as a reminder of the dark history of the region. If these dark Russian stories are your thing, then be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more mysteries. Until then, see you next time. The wind howls through the abandoned subway tunnel, carrying with it the sound of distant trains that will never come. The darkness is broken only by the flickering light of a lone lantern illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. Suddenly a noise, the sound of footsteps. Are they coming or going? The lantern swings wildly as if in answer. Then silence. Just the echo of the wind and the sound of my own heart beating in my chest. As the minutes tick by, the darkness seems to close in around me, pressing in from all sides. I can feel the weight of the tunnel pressing down on me, holding me captive in its dark embrace. The air grows colder, sending shivers down my spine. I pull my coat tighter around me, but it offers little comfort against the biting chill. Then a sound, a low rumble like the growl of a distant beast. It seems to come from the very walls themselves, shaking the ground beneath my feet. I freeze, listening intently. Is it the sound of an approaching train or something else entirely? Just as suddenly as it began, the rumble subsides, leaving behind an eerie silence. I continue my journey into the unknown, deeper and deeper into the bowels of the earth. The air grows thicker, making it difficult to breathe. My lungs burn and I can feel myself suffocating. I stumble forward, desperate for air, my heart pounding in my chest. Then, a glimmer of light in the distance. Hope surges through me. I stumble towards it, my eyes fixed on the opening. As I get closer, I can see that the light is coming from a crack in the wall. It's small, barely a slit, but it offers a tantalizing glimpse of what lies beyond. With renewed determination, I push my way towards the opening, desperate to escape the suffocating darkness. As I reach out to touch it, a sudden gust of wind blows through the tunnel, extinguishing my lantern and plunging me into total darkness. Panic surges through me. I thrash wildly, desperate to find the opening once more. But in the darkness, I can't tell friend from foe. I'm trapped in a labyrinth of my own fear, lost and alone. Then a whisper, a voice that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere. It speaks to me in a language I don't understand, but its meaning is clear. This place doesn't want me here. And with that, the darkness closes in around me, enveloping me in its cold, dark embrace. I scream, but my voice echoes unanswered through the empty tunnel. There is no escape. I am trapped forever in the abandoned subway station.